In an increasingly virtual world, physical connection is becoming more important than ever. Young Living's Wellness Connections gives you a space not just to talk about the oils and the products, but to see, smell, touch, and experience the change that comes from them. Something happens when you pick these up and play with them, these kinds of products that you've maybe only seen on a screen. And Scott Halversen is in studio today to talk about the advantages to sharing in this personal way. So come connect at these Wellness Connections. Hello and welcome to Young Living's podcast, The Wild Drop. My name is Jacob Young, your host. Young Living is the world leader in producing and distributing premium essential oils, and this podcast will provide you with drops of information about Young Living, including stories, history, product information, lots of little fun facts, and even more. Well, Mr. Scott, welcome to the podcast for the very first time. And because you are brand new, not only to the podcast, but to our world of Young Living, I think it'd be great if you introduced yourself, what you do, what you were doing before, and anything else that you'd like to share for the world of the Wild Drop.
Thanks, Jacob. Thanks for having me on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Before Young Living, I had been in the industry for 20 years. I absolutely love MLM, direct selling. Little known, my dad was on the corporate side of two big companies for 37 years. He didn't know he was grooming me, and I didn't know that either. So you could say that both of us grew up understanding what this business is all about. And I've worked with startups, but also multi-billion-dollar a year companies, and mostly field-facing. So that's where my passion is. It's to help brand partners get the most out of what they want in the business.
Yeah. And it's been great having you here in the last 7 months. You've already played quite a few different roles, which is really fun. You started in communications, and I think we quickly realized that you actually have a really bright spot when it comes to sales. Your emotion, your attitude, the way that you really like to kind of link arms with everybody and rally them together. It's just something that I didn't quite expect from you when I met you for the very first time. But now that we're starting to do these wellness connections, which is today's topic, it's really been exciting to see kind of how you've led it, how you've been navigating it, how we've been building it out, especially with the U.S. leadership team as well, too. So it's been really fun. I would love for you to talk and share about these wellness connections that we've been doing. We started them last year as kind of our call to action here as getting back to the basics. And funny enough, we actually have a group called Back to Basics, which we'll talk a little bit more about. But if you wouldn't mind diving into the wellness connections and sharing the importance of it, the reasoning behind it, and why someone should go.
Well, hey, thank you for the compliments, first of all. I think that's great. It's great to partner with you as well. When you have a vision of really helping people get the most out of this business, the most out of sharing and leaning into our company mission, I think we get the best results. And that's really what Wellness Connection is about. The word connection is intentional in that we got lost for a few years, and it's no fault of our own. It's just what happened to society. And it's obvious that people want to connect face to face, knee to knee, belly to belly, and just have that interaction one more time. So what do? You create the environment for that to happen. There are ways, multiple ways to do it. But what if we could do it in a way that is repeatable anytime, anywhere? So the Wellness Connection is first about creating a template of here's the experience. As a brand partner, they invite their guests so that they can come see, touch, taste, feel, smell the best products of Young Living. Mm-hmm. So think about every kit that is most important, the Premium Starter Kit, the Thieves Home Kit, the Ningxia Reset Kit. All of those are available. Now we've got Balance and Burn, which is part of the kit as well. And I was thinking, wow, people get to really see what it is. People get to share their experience. And what we're finding is that when guests come, they're like, I had no idea this was that good. And so we've brought it to them in a very open way. And think of an open house. You just come, you get to go do your DIY table, you get to try the Ningxia mocktail, and there's conversations happening. So the invitation to become a brand partner is just a natural occurrence. Now, I will say the intent of Friday night or whatever the experience night is to enroll brand partners, to bring them into our world so they can see more. We're seeing that evident in everyone that we do, whether we were in Colorado last year or in Houston, where the team did a great job. We launched these in Mexico this year, and we just got back from Phoenix, and we had over 200 people come that night. We weren't expecting that. We took over the hotel lobby.
Oh, it was super busy. I saw the video you sent me. It was packed.
We transformed it. I didn't know what to think, but here was the really good thing at the end of the day. The brand partners that we worked with, the leaders, were so excited, number one, because they could get their teams together. The guests came. They were surprised and delighted by the experience. No one was rushing to leave. That's the connection we want. Now, it's based on health and wellness, so you can understand why we call it Wellness Connection. I will just say this. If you go, see how it's done, see what tables are, and if you're an executive star, if you're a silver or a gold, you can go, I can do this. I can repeat this anytime, anywhere. It doesn't have to be a big production. The point is getting people together in a very comfortable and open way.
Yeah. And that's what we realized kind of last year is, to your point, with society is everything's gone so digital, everything's gone to Zoom, right? And we're such a people business that when we don't get together, we kind of struggle a little bit. We don't flourish. We don't thrive like we used to. And I wouldn't say not only with Young Living, but just in today's society and world, that first year or two, and even now a little bit, after COVID, there's almost this weird awkwardness of okay, how do I socialize with people again? How do I get with people again? It's just beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see that coming back, right? And what's more fun than connecting with like-minded people who all have a very shared common interest, goal, and morals and values and principles, and a mission to just not only want to better themselves, but to better the world too. And they're also, they're creating a livelihood out of it, which is just amazing, right? And so I really want to preface and say we really don't talk a lot about business here on this podcast. But for those of you that are interested, we highly recommend and encourage you to check these out. You can check them on the events page on the Young Living website, and we'll add a description down below. But I think it would also kind of be good for you to go a little bit further into... We talked about Friday, how it's a feel, touch, smell kind of experience, right? Get introduced into the world. And then Saturday is game day, right? Okay, if you're intrigued Friday, come Saturday to really figure out why you're intrigued and why you should be even more intrigued, right? What does that Saturday look like? And then the expectation and kind of the next steps that people have. Because we do this 3 times in the same locations and areas, before we feel all right, ready to leave the nest. So
Saturday is special. If you want, as a brand partner, to reconnect, to develop those skills again, to find a good way to talk about yourself that is liberating, that is impactful, where you become a magnet of attraction, that's what I would recommend you do. We developed this back in 2011. And the idea was, how do you have a conversation and how can you be relatable in an authentic way, but with purpose? That there's an outcome, that you lead people down a path where you're not selling them, but they're wanting to have what you have. That is really the intent. And it's all about thinking about things in a couple of different ways. First of all, thinking about what the prospect is, even thinking while you're talking to them. We drum up the courage to talk to them, and we're so excited, and the passion is there, right? And then all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, we've just distilled all this great information, and they're looking for the fastest exit. We can do it a different way. We want to be relatable, but yet get permission then to talk more. So we talk about, what is the prospect thinking? Can you build trust with them in a short amount of time? Social media has made it so hard that we have to do it in 3 to 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, what's your hook? What is that thing that the people want to hear that says, oh, I'm intrigued, I want to know more? Then somebody's going, what, can I actually incorporate essential oils into my life? Can I take on another supplement? Can I do what you're asking me to do? And we walk them through how to do that. And the last is it always worth it to that prospect to make a change? We know that the answer is always yes, but we have to let them know that we've experienced what they're going through in that moment. And then they can say, oh, here's what you have to do. No problem. So we talk about developing a short story. How do you even talk about yourself in a relatable way so that you're like, oh, I like this. She understands me, or he understands me. And then you say, this is the change that came about because I decided to engage with Young Living. Now, this is what it's doing for me. It becomes a simple conversation. And it could be product related. It could be about your business. And I know, like, the greatest thing I love about Young Living is people matter. We put the profits last. Commissions are always a result of the activity that we do. When we connect in a very genuine and authentic way, we reach that, and we just know we're rewarded through those efforts. But our heart's in the right place and it's leading that way. So we teach that, how to do a short story, how to do a one-liner, how to do it on social media so that people are like, oh, I'll DM you, like I want to find out more. So that's that part. Well, we got to figure out who to talk to. Our business, as you said earlier, is connection. It's one-to-one or one-to-many. How do we do that? Well, we got to have a list. How do you manage the list? Have we thought about who we want to work with in building a team, letting the compensation plan work for us instead of trying to figure out, does it even work at all? No, it's like being strategic about it. Then it's, how do we invite? What's the art of inviting? I don't know about you, but texting is a great way to communicate. And maybe this has happened to you. It's happened to me. My mom will text. She forgets that the cap locks are on, and it's all capital letters. And I'm going, oh my goodness, there's an emergency happening. And I immediately call her and I'm like, what's wrong? She goes, oh no, I was just wanting to see how you were doing, hoping you had a good day. Right. Yeah. It's like all those things don't come through text. So how do we do the art of inviting in a way that they hear our tone, they hear our passion, our confidence, we build trust? We need to reach out in a way that technology can't do.
Yeah.
We learn better. We trust better person to person. The art is incorporating both. So you can have the best of technology, you can have the best of face-to-face interaction. So we get to that. And then we put everything to the test. We've got our story, we have our invitations down, we know what to say, and we actually create momentum in the business. We reach out. Yeah. Do we call? We make calls, but we also make voice texts because we know everyone's not going to respond the same way, right? Is it scary? A little bit. But your dad had a great quote. He just said, if you're not living on the edge, you're just taking up space.
Yep.
And so we kind of put that quote to the test, and we're like, we're going to go live on the edge today. The great thing about it from a leader perspective is they get to see momentum with the people that attended that they normally wouldn't have had, because we know what Monday's like. We think of all the negative things as to why not call.
Yeah.
But we made the effort in 15 or 20 minutes. And here's the thing that's really cool. We put lists down, we put names, and we'll have 1,200, 1,500 names from everyone who's there. And they're like, we've got plenty of people to call. And in 15, 20 minutes, we call about 300 to 400 of those. At the beginning of this, I always ask, if you had a list of 10 people right now and you asked them to learn something about Young Living, how many of them do you think would say yes to you? You know what the answer always is?
It's always no, none of them.
It's either, you're right, it's either 0 or 1.
Yeah.
At the end of this calling exercise, we tally up all of the effort. This is what we've been seeing so far. Number one, nobody dies, right? Everyone's better off.
Yeah.
We get about 35% of the people that we contact in those 20 minutes, they say, yes, I'd like to learn more. I'll come to your next event. Let's talk. The number of people that say no is less than 1%. Whereas before, the mind said 90% are going to tell me no.
Yeah.
And then the rest, they just didn't answer. They didn't respond. So then now you've got follow-up for the next week. This is by design. And it's not that it's hard. It's just we don't practice it all the time. So as leaders, you can take every single skill that you learn, every activity through this, and you can implement this every week with your team. Anytime you want an injection of adrenaline in your business, have your team do these exercises and then make the calls, make the connections, make the voice text. The thing that we're going to do next is like video texting. I record a video because sometimes we're not comfortable talking to people for whatever reason, but they want to see your face. They want to see your passion. So let's use technology to help us connect with people so that we have that coffee, so that we have that lunch.
It's been really fun, and I've been meaning to go to them, but my schedule's a little bit sporadic right now. And just you sharing, there was one example in particular that I absolutely loved.
Okay.
And it was the table that refused to make the phone calls, and they're like, we're just going to text. We already knew, like you and I both knew how that was going to go. And it was really unfortunate, but it also kind of proved our point that the table that did text message only, they all got no's. But the ones that did the phone calls right beside actually got way more calls, and they got all yeses, if I'm not mistaken. And
That's
then
correct,
then the table that did the text was like, oh shoot, maybe we should actually make some calls. And then the following day they did some calls and they had some success and whatnot. But that was just really fun to see. And it's also really fun to see just how you're able to encourage people and instill a confidence in them that they never realized that they had before either. Because what's beautiful is they truly love the products and they want to share. The best way I can explain it to people is like, you go to a great restaurant or you go and watch a good movie. You want to tell your friends and family about it because you want them to have a very similar experience, right?
Yeah.
You want others to appreciate that, to be able to enjoy it. And that's kind of how they feel, but they don't know how to share that story or talk about it. And that's exactly what this does. So it's been amazing to see the success that we've had, to see leaders in areas that have been, I would say, just not necessarily disengaged, but not as active, right? There's just been that weird disconnect as a society after COVID, right? So to see that come back and reignite is just a beautiful and a great thing. To see all the new people that are coming in as well, right? To see the major interest that is still around, which is really cool. And another thing that we've really been trying to tie into the Wellness Connections is our Back to Basics group. And I kind of made a call to action last year, at the end of last year, and I said, look, I want to build not necessarily a new generation of leaders, right? But I also want to bring in new blood into the business, right? You have to have new people coming in, right, to continue the succession.
Yeah.
And so I said, if you're interested and you really want to build a business, and this is truly just strictly building a business while still loving the products and being who you are, join this group. And if you're interested, it's on Olio. It's called Back to Basics. You're more than welcome to join if you want to. But we are kind of pushing people to do the part of the business, right, which can be a little daunting and scary. Those that have been in the group, we've seen major success. More success as far as enrollments, customers, reigniting people, etc., than we anticipated. I think we were hoping in the like 5 to 10%, right, of those total that join, and we're just shy of like 50% total as far as like engagement, I guess you can say.
Correct, yes.
So it's been fantastic. It's been great. Obviously, we want 100%. I love everyone winning, right? But that's okay. Some are a little bit better at it than others and whatnot. But it's been really fun to see those people also go to those wellness connections, tie it into their business, and just see it come full circle. So if both of these are of interest to you, we're going to leave the descriptions in links down below. This is strictly for those that really want to build a business. But if you're interested on taking that next step in your journey in life, right, and you want to try and make something out of it, you want to do it out of a necessity, really. Like, you can still have a want and a desire to do it, but you're going to have the best success being a necessity. So really appreciate you coming on, Scott, and sharing everything today. It's been really fun to kind of see you work on these wellness connections and help me with back to basics and stuff. And for people to kind of get to know you, and it's really been fun to see you kind of get to know our world. It's very different, I'm sure, as you've kind of realized throughout the few months and whatnot. But is there anything else that you're wanting to share as far as notes or last comments or anything in the world of YL or wellness connections or back to basics?
I will say this, having been with a number of companies, this company truly leads with its mission and its values from beginning of the day to end of the day. There's no doubt about that. So if you're listening to this, just remember you're always in the right place. If you want to be part of our Back to Basics group, we go over the activities and the mindset, the techniques that we use in our wellness connection. So there's benefit to you if you're waiting for it to come to your area. Like, just come be part of our group.
Join the link that we'll share. There's a JDOT form that you'll create out. That way we're able to kind of monitor your progress and make sure that you're doing the things that we're kind of wanting you to do to kind of help you excel and succeed in what you're wanting to do, right? So we'll add that all in the description. And then wellness connections, like I said, you can find those on the event page at Young Living, and we'll make sure that everything is posted there.
That's great. So thank you for that. The last thing I would say is, when you are intentional and proactive about what you want to get out of this business, this interaction, in your mission in helping people, because when we lead with heart, when we lead with the purpose of getting people on a better wellness journey, introducing them to products that they would never have access to, like Balance and Burn or Daily Hormone Essentials or Ningxia. These are amazing products that no one else has. You realize that the result of it is, wow, okay, I can make a business out of this without being salesy, without being like, oh, I'm one of them. No. You are the owner of your own business, so you can be proud in that mission. And that's really what we want to enforce is, let's go change lives, and let's also change ourselves at the same time and get the best version of us that we can possibly show. And it always gets better the more we do it. More reps, the better we get.
Yep, repetition. Love it. Well, Scott, thank you so much for your time and for coming on, and I'm sure we'll have you on in the future.
Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for tuning into this episode of The Wild Drop. Remember, you can listen to these podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, on YouTube, and our website at www.youngliving.com. And of course, don't forget to check out the podcast on our brand new Olio app. That is Olio by Young Living on the Apple and Google Play Store. And, of course, don't forget to oil up, Young Living family. This is Jacob Young, dropping out. Take care.